Okay, this is a teenager's guide to what to do with your life. you know, or some suggestions and some information about what you might do with your life. And of course, you get here and you have your own thoughts and your own perceptions and your own notions. And then you have, what a bunch of people, your friends and other kids and your teachers and your parents. Suggest or tell you, whatever that you should do. Um, and it's kind of it's a mixed bag. I know that I've heard that there are a bunch of people who don't have any problem with this. They just know, hey, I'm going to be like my dad. I'm going to join the company, or um, I don't really want to do I mean, they have different ideas. Like, I don't really want to do anything here. I don't like this place, or I want to get rich, or there's lots of different things that you might want to do. Maybe you want to become a firefighter, and there's always a kind of a notion somewhere in there, kind of depending on how wide your perception is, that you want to have some kind. Maybe you want to, like have a family, get married, um, have a house, of course, and stuff like that. Or maybe you don't think of those things. You just want to have adventures, climb mountains. There's so many different things. And I think, I could be wrong, I think there's kind of a large group of you who aren't really quite sure what to do. And you kind of keep thinking, well, I mean, it's a common thing. You think, well, I don't know now, but probably by the time I get to be, I graduate from high school, or maybe if I go to college, or, I'll have more time. I'll figure out exactly what I want to do. Right now, I can't really tell. Among a certain group of people, there's a real difficulty because they have a bunch of things they want to do and they can't quite decide which one to do, and so forth and so on. And along those lines, there's been pretty good advice and research done by some kids in Oxford, and I think probably some other places as well. I'm sure that you know, kind of do what your talent is. If you have a talent, you can do that. um, something that you love and you like to do, and don't think about the money. Just think about what you like to do, and that's good advice. I agree with that advice myself. And that you try to see the thing is like what you feel really good doing. You feel really good doing something. I mean, your mind might say, "Well, I don't, I mean, what is this? This is going to take you here." But don't always pay it. Your mind is a tool. It's not to be something you follow. It's just a tool. They'll try to convince you otherwise. They'll try to tell you that it's the boss, but it's not your boss. You are the one who makes the choices, and it's your life, and so this is going to be kind of a discussion about fundamental things. Now, a way of looking at everything is to go back to the fundamental situation and start from there. Start simple and don't start at the complex point. I have so many possibilities I could do this. Start at the simple point, the simplest, because that's how things are. Things start simply and they get more complicated. Okay, so the simple, the simplest thing is that there you are, and you're here in this place, which maybe you think you can figure it out, maybe you can't. Maybe you kind of look around, and you're like, what is this, and what am I doing here, and what's going on, and why do I have to do anything, and or if I have to do something, then I mean, what am I supposed to do? I mean, what is, I mean, um, or maybe I'll just, I'll do what I like to do. Thank you very much, and whatever I like to do, that's what I'll do. Uh, you know. um, Later on, you can realize, you'll come to wisdom that sometimes doing what you like to do isn't good for you. And sometimes doing what you like to do to other people isn't good for you either, because it might not be fun for them or good for them, Of course, that involves a value, that you have any value, if you care about other people or, whatever. Okay. So in this fundamental situation, this is only be 10 minutes because that's about the length that anybody would watch it anyway. Um, in the fundamental situation, you're 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 thinking. Well, you can think two ways. I mean, you can either think, or maybe three ways. You can think, well, it's just me, and I'll have to figure it out for myself. Or you can think, well, maybe there's a God, and maybe there's somebody who created me. Maybe there's a guiding light somewhere. I need to find that if you don't already have that, which most of you probably kind of have mixed things about that you do and you don't. Um, and then you can. Unfortunately, a lot of groups of people thought, well, they should do what their ancestors, what the people with their parents and their family and their tribe or whatever, or their country, what they did. What did they do? And which one of those things do I think is good and I like to do, so I'll do that. That's a third way. We won't really get into that too much because imitating other people, I will suggest, is not the way to go. Um, the best thing I will suggest is that you're not influenced by other people. If you try to find your own nature, learn a little bit about who you are and who you aren't. You know, if you're smart, how smart are you? And if you're talented, how talented are you? And if you're loving, how loving are you? And if you're a monster, is there anything you can do about that? And even just to realize that you are basically or have the real capacity to be a monster in some degree is real important. That you kind of look and see who you actually are. What kind of a person are you? And you know, are you a loving, caring person who likes other people and tries to get along and wants to do the right thing, or just are you just a person that's out for yourself and you just don't care about other people, don't even probably relate to them very well, except just to get them use them or get them to do what you want them to do and want to have a good time, make a lot of money and the hell with it, whatever. And get away with it. There's a lot of so that's kind of a monster person. Turns out, if you are that monster person, you have a chance and you have a consideration to ask yourself the question: do I want to be a monster person? Do I even care? And if you do care, if you don't care, well, then I can't really say much to you. I mean, I hope that you don't get very far being a monster, but. Um, or maybe that's not really my place, but to say that. But so you can look at all those things. Those are all kind of important first things to do. Then the question then arises between the two things. If there's a God, what should I do? And if it's just I don't know, and I just have to be on my own. Yeah, it looks like I'm on my own. I mean, here I am. I'm like an orphan here. I mean, like you know, I mean, maybe my parents, I go to them, but maybe not even then, maybe you don't respect your parents or you don't think much of what they're doing. And then you can easily, and often teenagers often do get to the point, say, well, I'm on my own. I do what I like. I have my friends. I know what I want. And like that. And, that's how you guide yourself. Um, with I'm sure, lots of, various doubts and qualms and anxieties about whether you might be in the wrong path. So there's that. And then there's also the matter of being, if there's a God, is there something God wants you to do or not? Um, is there a way to find out if there is something the Almighty wants you to do? And I'm just going to break this real quick and say that actually, I'm going to give something away. Actually, as far as I understand, your point of being here and the reason that you're here, your purpose here, is to grow and become greater, become more than what you were. It is to learn and to experience things. And then there's a whole thing, I've gone over 10 minutes, but there's a whole thing about what kinds of things and how you might find out what you should learn and how you should grow. And those are, these are basic things before we get to what exactly you might do, which we may never get to that because ultimately that's up to you. But, stuff like that. So this will be part one, and then we'll go into the next part next time. All right, bye-bye.